Hey everyone, this is Cody from Peak Fitness, and today we're going to be going through some foam rolling techniques that you guys can do at home, whether it be the only thing that you do for the day or before or after some of the workouts that you guys will be doing at home. Knowing how to use the tool is the first step of getting better with your mobility. So we're going to go over a couple key points before we get into the techniques. So what we're looking for when we're foam rolling is first off scanning the area. So actually rolling on the muscle, going from the inside, the middle, the outside, looking for trigger points. A trigger point is a sensitive area that is a little bit more tender than the other spots. So our goal here, again, isn't to roll the entire muscle. We're just scanning that area to find that one little trigger point. Once we find it, we're gonna stay on the area for 30 to 40 seconds or so until it releases, and then move on to either another muscle or another trigger point in the surrounding areas. The intensity that we're going to be going at is a 7 out of 10. When we're releasing a muscle, we wanna make sure that we're relaxed and we're breathing. If it's a 10 out of 10 pain and you're tight, your muscle isn't gonna relax, and again, that is the whole goal of this. So let's get right into it, guys. Today we're gonna be doing our calves, our hamstrings, and our quads. We'll be going through other muscle groups in later videos. So let's start with our calves. What you guys are gonna do is begin by the lower section of the calf. So this is the soleus area. So we're not going on the actual gastroc muscle itself. We're gonna stay nice and low, kind of Achilles, bottom of the calf muscle. One leg bent, planted into the ground to give you guys a nice solid base, hands at your side. If you guys have any wrist issues, then you can either make a fist, or if you have some small dumbbells at home to hold on to, that would be perfect. So all we're gonna do, again, first step, scan the area. So I'm gonna go on the inside, I'm gonna go in the middle, and I'm gonna go on the outside. I'm gonna do a couple scans in each direction, seeing if I find any trigger points. For myself today, I get a little one right on the inside here. So once I find that trigger point, I'm gonna stay on it. I'm gonna apply a little bit more pressure by dragging my heel down towards to the ground. If you wanna add more pressure, you can cross the leg over and push down, and that's it. 30, 40 seconds here, and then move on. If that's not releasing, you could be pressing a little too hard. Try to focus on your breathing, relax, or you may need to go into kind of a active release technique. So what we're gonna do is stay on that trigger point, and we're gonna go and pump the brakes. So we're gonna go up and down with that ankle. This can be done like I'm doing now, or by applying more pressure, crossing that leg over, and pumping the brakes. Once you've got that area done, we'll move on to the gastroc. So, step one again, scanning the area. So we're gonna go in the middle, we're gonna go on the inside, we're gonna go on the outside. So we're gonna do that a couple times, seeing if you feel anything. And right there on the outside today, I got something. So it's the same technique as what we just did for the soleus. 30, 40 seconds on that area, either applying a little more pressure, crossing the leg over, or pumping the brakes to get that release. So after 30 or 40 seconds, you should feel that the muscle releases or it's less tender. That is not your cue to go and press harder. That's your cue to move on, okay? Next up, obviously do the other side. But next up, we're gonna go into the hamstring. The hamstring is gonna be the same technique. So we're gonna start right at the base of the knee, and we're gonna work our way up to the beginning of our butt. So again, scanning the area, middle, inside, outside. And right there today, I'm feeling something. So stay on the trigger point, apply a little more pressure if you'd like, or you can go and lift the bum up, digging the heel into the ground, and then that is it. If when you did the inside, it felt really, really tender. We have a later video to go over the VMO, the adductors, and the groin. Okay, so stay tuned for that one. Next up, we're gonna do the quads, so the big muscles on the front of your legs. With those bigger muscles, I like to separate it into 2 sections. So if I was to scan the area from top of my knee all the way up to my hip, there could be multiple trigger points. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna separate it from the middle of my quad to the beginning, and then the middle to the more proximal side of the hip, okay? So place the foam roller. We're gonna start at the beginning of the knee. Opposite leg bent out to the side. Drop down to your elbows, give you a nice sturdy support system. And I'm gonna roll, but I'm gonna stop halfway up my thigh, okay? Roll back down to the top of my knee and back up halfway to my thigh. Again, scanning the area. I'm gonna play around with the angle of my leg, middle, inside, trying to find that trigger point. Once I find it, I can just stay on that area, or I can go and start to do some knee flexion here. About 10 or 15 reps or so, and then you can move on. The whole goal here again is just to release that trigger point. Once you're done with that, repeat the same techniques on the other side and move on. Thank you.